Kunja Bihari. Jai Bhag Bhang Sabri Bhagavan my His Divine Grace, Lacy Bhakti Ghost Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Vishnu Pad Paramahamsa Paribhutara Sishimad, His Divine Grace, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Goswami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Vishnu Pad Sri Thakur Bhakti Vinod Ki Jai, Srila Bhakti Shodas की जय श्री जगन्नाथ दास बाबा जी महाराज की जय प्रथम दास और की जय श्री गुरु परंपरा की जय श्रीमद् भगवद गीता as it is की जय. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. Go Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. All together, please. Om Jnana Timirandasya Ganandan Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Savidam Yena Bhutale Swayam Ramayam Pradati Swapadantik Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuktam Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Sha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghutam Vitam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sagadatam Krishna Yade Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahaganam Shri Vishakam Vidam He Krishna Karanam Sindhu Dina Bhagavad Gita Gopisha Gopta Kanta Radhika Namaste Tapchakanshan Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhana Sudadevi Priye Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripalasindhudevacha Parijanam Bhavnavyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namah Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivadri Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna. It's working. So, today we're reading the introduction, continuing, and we have a mark here Gita 4 1 to 3. So, this is what the great Dharmatma wants us to read, correct? Does he mark when we should finish the reading? No, that's not marked. So, we can finish at some point that's convenient. Yeah, maybe a couple of pages. Okay, so it's the fourth chapter, Gita 4 1 to 3, where the Lord says, Prabhupada quotes in the introduction, Imam Vishvate Yogam Proktavam Aham Avyayam Vishwasan Manave Praha Manusha Bhikshave Pravit Evam Parampara Praptam Imam Rajashayo Vido Sakalenaha Mahatat Yoganasta Parantapa Sa Eva Yam Maya Tadya Yoga Prokta Puratana Bhaktosi Me Sakasheti Rahashyam Yetad Uttamam. So this is a very famous part, the fourth chapter, about Parampara. So of course Prabhupada, introducing the Bhagavad Gita, is making Parampara right at the beginning of the introduction. So here's what Prabhupada says. Here the Lord informs Arjuna that this system of yoga, the Bhagavad Gita, was first spoken to the sun god, and the sun god explained it to Manu, and Manu explained it to Ishvaku, and in that way, by the cyclic succession, one speaker after another, this yoga system has been lost. has been coming down, but in the course of time it has been lost. Consequently, the Lord has to speak it again, this time to Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Yes, so the science of Krishna consciousness that comes from transcendental realm by transcendental messengers. We call it Guru Parampara. It is dealing with Adhokshaja. We talked about Adhokshaja last week, you remember? We're talking about something beyond the realm of our senses. We're in this material body and we're used to getting information at the sensual level, what we can see, what we can touch, what we can smell. And then with our mind, we speculate. So in Sanskrit, this is called aroha. You're trying to attain knowledge, aroha, by ascending process. You're using the body and mind. You may be using a microscope as well, but you're still just using your eyes. You might be using a telescope, but you're still using sensual information. You're getting sensual information. And then anumanta. Anumanta means following the mind. You interpret this information to come to a conclusion. That's aroha. Use the senses and then you speculate or interpret. But the problem is we're not in a position to speculate or interpret correctly as a general rule. The materialistic people, they're speculating, interpreting, and guessing what is the best political system, what is the best economic system, what is the best way to do this, what is the best way for me to rob a bank, whatever. They're interpreting their sensual information according to their desire and agenda. And because we are in the material world, we are thinking I'm the material body. So we think that basically our agenda is to make this body and mind and our relatives happy, right? But, and therefore we stay in the material world. We just stay with our different ideas, communism, capitalism, this is amazing. But evam praptam means the adhokshaja, that which is beyond the material senses. So how are we going to lock into it? You just said for 5 minutes, everyone is using their body and senses, and they're interpreting that information to come to a conclusion. So you said that, but how are you going to get information in a different way? Yes, yes, there is a different way. This is what we're using the senses, but what we're doing is we're using the consciousness. The senses rest on the consciousness. We understand evam prakta, not this body. This should be the basic information in all human society. But we see in Kali Yuga, nobody knows this, hardly 1%, right? Manushanam. Hardly everyone thinks, I'm Indian, I'm Bengali, I'm Orisen, I'm Russian, I'm Pagal. Everyone is thinking, I'm this material body and mind, right? So this is the conclusion. And so Prabhupada explained, on basis of Vedic information, that if you think that you're the material body, you're on the what platform? An animal platform, right? Animal platform. Because the animal cannot understand that I'm a spirit soul inside the material body. The animal cannot understand that generally. Maybe if they meet Lord Chaitanya in the forest of Namasharanya or huh? Yes, near Bengal, right? He made the lions, the tigers dance. So he can enlighten the tigers. But don't you try that. Don't go to the forest. Don't go to, uh, don't try and make a tiger, chant Hare Krishna. Unless you are Bengali, of course. If you're Bengali, you can do anything. So generally, but so human being starts with, I'm not the body, I'm an eternal soul, an answer of Krishna. So that is the beginning, that is the meaning of a Tato Brahma Jignash. You all know this, right? The first sloka from the Vedanta Sutra, the summary of the Upanishads. Atato Brahma. Now you inquire into the Supreme. Now means now that you're a human being, it means now that you understand you're a spirit soul, eternal soul inside a Bengali body. I mean, a human body. Human body, right? Bengali human. So now I know, then now I can inquire into Brahma Jignas. You see. And how do I do it? I do it with the understanding that I must go to the person who knows Adhokshaja. Right? We said Adhokshaja. What is Adhokshaja? Beyond the senses. So that is the Vaishnava. He is purified in consciousness. So his consciousness is able to absorb information and understanding and realization of the transcendental world. And then he's able to guide the disciple in his realization. So this is the difference. There are people who know the absolute truth, evam parampara, and how have they done it? By guru disciplic succession. So this is most important point. This is right at the beginning of the Gita, right here in the introduction, that you must learn from the person who knows the Adhokshaja. And then by following Chetudapana Marjana, by purifying one's consciousness, purifying one's life, one's diet, one's activities, then the consciousness becomes a means of realization, the transcendence. You understand? If the consciousness is still polluted by pap, punya, karma, phal, so on and so forth, material atmosphere, then it's very hard to understand the spiritual platform. So the first part of Imam Bhashvate Yogam is to hear from Guru, just like Arjuna is going to hear from Krishna, right? And then, oh, I have another sense beyond my sense of smell, my sense of sight, my sense of hearing, my sense of touch, so on and so forth. I have a sense that upon which all senses rest. And this is the important point. We have different working senses, bodily work, and we have knowledge acquiring senses, but they are all resting upon consciousness, right? Just like pearls are strung or neck beads are strung upon a thread. Everything is resting upon consciousness. So sadhana bhakti means to purify consciousness. Cheto dapana marjanam. And then what happens next? Pavamahat, right? It means the fever of material agitation, confusion, anxiety becomes less. When the mind becomes peaceful, then Krishna within the heart can give enlightenment. Ultimately, it's coming from Krishna because our consciousness is resting upon Krishna. Krishna is Atma Atma. So if you have purified consciousness by following Guru, then you will be able to get knowledge from Chaitya Guru. You'll be able to get knowledge from the Shastra. You'll be able to get knowledge from Sadhu Sangha. You'll be able to get the knowledge directly by grace of Krishna, all the sadhus, right? So this is the important point. So this is Guru. This is the importance of Guru. Krishna's first expansion Lord Chaitanya's first expansion, Nityananda, Krishna's is Baladeva. He is known as Adi Guru. Adi Guru. And his Shakti is Ananga Manjari. Ananga Manjari is the younger sister of Radharani. And it is stated in the Shastra that actually when one is a sadhaka, practicing devotee, hasn't reached Siddha Bhakti yet, then he is under the supervision of Baladev and Ananga Manjari, Nityananda and Janavama. She is Guru Shakti. And when the devotee becomes accomplished and purified by tapasya, by grace of Guru, by grace of devotee, Bhagavan, then Ananga Manjari looks and thinks and says to Radharani, look, we have made this devotee is nice. Now you take them, engage this devotee. Because Bhakti Devi is Radharani. She is the Queen of Vrindavan. She is Yogama. She is the mother of devotion. So she engages everyone. So Ananga Manjari, with the help of Baladev, they purify the devotee, enlighten the devotee, and then the devotee is taken by Radharani to engage in eternal Swarup in Vrindavan. We talked about it last week, right? How we have to awaken the Swarup. So you don't have to worry too much. Don't think, oh, I have to decide this, what, and then. No, just we follow the rules of sadhana. We follow regulative principle in the most 16 rounds. We study the Shastra. And within the heart, relevant to our position, our necessity, Krishna will give us enlightenment. This is the important point, right? Just like a good music teacher teaches according to the ability of the student, right? So if I'm learning Madanga, I get beginning lessons at the beginning. I get medium lessons at the middle. So Krishna supervises everything. This is the important point. And that is Prabhupada in one purport, in 9th chapter, Prabhupada says that the absolute truth contained in the Vedas is Dashmula. And because we cannot perceive Chaitaguru, Krishna within the heart, within the consciousness, we need the external Guru, right? Just like, for example, same analogy, a good musician, he can hear, oh, that he can learn just by hearing other musicians and pick up, oh, that's a good idea. Yes, that's nice. I like that. So a good musician can hear. But a beginning musician needs the teacher, right? How to tune the instrument, how to do that. But after a while, when you know how to play an instrument, you just think of a tune and your fingers do the rest. So that is perfection. That is Siddha Bhakta. But you can't do that when you're on the beginning platform. So don't worry about advancing. Just desire to advance, and Krishna will give you through Radharani and Anangamanja all information, right? That is the important part. Because Krishna wants us to advance. He doesn't want us to stay in the material world. I was just listen. I read it. I think it was yesterday. Somebody sent me a quote on WhatsApp, and it was Prabhupada, and Prabhupada was saying, "Don't worry about suffering in the material world. Krishna is pained to see you suffer in this world. So become a devotee, and you will instead give Krishna pleasure." So Prabhupada is making a point. So everyone prefers pleasure to pain. So Krishna prefers us to be devotees than non-devotees. Non-devotees is in pain for us. So anyway, these are all basic things I'm sure you've heard of, but it's good to hear them and contemplate them, right? It's become lost, right? So this knowledge, which is directly from the spiritual plane, is lost. So this is an important point. Why? Because we're in the material world. So spiritual, fine, subtle spiritual energies become easily covered and lost, right? Because spirit and matter, they compete. So this material world makes us forget spirit. And when we're in spirit, we forget matter. So in the material world, people are forgetting spiritual matters in terms of material matters. So Guru gives us a program of practice in order we become purified. And then we can learn Krishna. But it's the material world, so in course of time it has become lost, right? Just like Lord Chaitanya, right? Lord Chaitanya came, Advaitacharya, he was calling, oh Nitai, come. Everyone has become materialistic, right? So this is the nature of the material world. So he tells Arjuna that he's relating this supreme secret to him. What is that supreme secret? This must refer to the slokas, Prabhupada. So the supreme secret is that if you want to know spirit, in this context, if you want to know spirit, then you should go to parampara. You can't go to a library and read every book. You have to go to, just like if you want to learn music, same idea. You should go to a master musician. And then your music study is very convenient and reliable. And not only that, when you are getting good instruction, it develops your faith in music. But if you just sit down in front of a piano, you don't know sa re ga ma, you don't know anything. How will you make progress? You will go very slowly. So this is the secret. Go to Guru Parampara. Actually, if I can say something from my own life, I got Prabhupada's Gita by mail order and I read the introduction. And it was by reading the introduction that I thought, yes, I need a guru. That was the conclusion that I came to. I realized that though I was interested in spiritual understanding, I needed a guru to guide me, guide my conclusions. So I went to the manor, Bhaktivedanta Manor, and guess who was visiting? Can you have a guess? Srila Prabhupada. He arrived an hour before. And they were just having a darshan, a room about this side. Prabhupada was sitting there. I came in, one of the first people. They were having a darshan. Prabhupada and I sat in front of Prabhupada, Prabhupada was there like that cloth. And Prabhupada looked at me with a smile. Like, oh, you, I know you, you're a rascal. So anyway, I knew that he knew me and I knew that but I had got the idea. You need Guru from the introduction to the his introduction to the Bhagavad Gita. Yeah, so that's the secret to get a Guru. So the purport is this, that, yeah, I'm giving you the secret because you're my friend, Krishna said to Arjuna. The purport is that Bhagavad Gita is treatise which is specially meant for devotees of the Lord. There are three classes of transcendentalists, jnani, yogi, or impersonalist, the meditator and the devotee. Here the Lord clearly tells Arjuna that he is making him the first receiver of a new parampara disciplic succession, because the old succession was broken. It was the Lord's wish, therefore, to establish another parampara in the same line of thought that was coming down from the sun god to others, and it was his wish that his teachings be distributed anew by Arjuna. He wanted Arjuna to become the authority in understanding the Bhagavad Gita. So we see that Bhagavad Gita is instructed to Arjuna, especially because Arjuna was a devotee of the Lord, a direct student of Krishna, and his intimate friend. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita is best understood by a person who has qualities similar to Arjuna's. That is to say, must be devotee in a direct relationship with the Lord. As soon as one becomes a devotee of the Lord, he also has a direct relationship with the Lord. That is a very elaborate subject matter, but briefly it can be stated that the devotee is in a relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead in 5 different ways. Now, we talked about this last week, didn't we? The 5 different ways a devotee, 5 division. Everyone has an individual relationship, but they can be put into 5 categories. But every relationship must be understood, emphasized, is particular. And that's what Prabhupada will say. Here's the 5 relationships. One may be a devotee in a passive state. That means Shantara. One be a devotee in an active state. That is Sakyabhav. Oh, sorry, Dasyabhav. One may devotee as a friend, one as a parent, one as a conjugal lover. Arjuna was in a relationship with the Lord as friend. Of course, there's a gulf of difference between this relationship and the friendship found in the material world. This is transcendental friendship, which cannot be had by anyone, by everyone. Of course, everyone has a particular relationship with the Lord. This is the, remember we were talking about this last week? I'll say that. Look. Of course, everyone, that means every soul, has a particular relationship with the Lord, and that relationship is evoked by perfection of devotional service, Siddha Bhakta, by Siddha Bhakti. Right? So we have a particular relationship. Remember, we were explaining the soul last week. There's 3 constitutional aspects. What's number 1? Nitya Siddha. No? Jivera Swarupoi. Yeah. So you can think of that as the basic one, where we are Krishna Das. Right. Then second one, what is the mood, right? What is the mood of our service? Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem. Right. So in this material world, you might have a boss, but you don't like him. So in the spiritual world, everyone loves Krishna, right? Krishna is not a bad boss. So we all have a relationship with Krishna, and that is Krishna Prem, Sadhakavanai. It's not attained but from outside. It's the basis is in the soul, but it develops under Yoga Maya and Ananga Manjari and all the great devotees. So then the third aspect of our relationship with Krishna is what? We have Swarup. Huh? We have Swarup. What is the sloka with that one? Jivara Swarupoi Nityara Krishna Das. We are eternally servant of Krishna, loving servant of Krishna, and that is our constitutional nature. That's what is dormant. That's what we have to understand. That's what's dormant. But the sat aspect and chit aspect, they're varying degrees. They are awake. We're conscious of this world. We're sat. We know we're existing. So we have this consciousness, but our prem is not developed. Our swarup is not. So what was the system? We must understand what the basis of Krishna prem, and we must act accordingly. Krishna prem is unselfishly. unselfish. We were talking about it elaborately last week. If you remember, right? That in the spiritual world, everyone is ahoitiki, causeless bhakti, where everyone is rendering service, but without self-interest, without calculation of I'll get a good result or this will be my profit. They're just spontaneously acting out of prema. The spiritual world, remember, we were discussing that the impetus in the spiritual world is prema. Nobody is using philosophy or calculation or self interest or yogic power to gain some result. Everyone is in a mood of bhakti bhava, giving, loving devotion. So uh, that we can contemplate. That is very important. And therefore, the Astakala Leela Smaranam is there. Krishna awakens in the morning before dawn with Radharani. They awaken. Then they getting service from the attendants. Then they go to their home. Krishna goes to Nandagram. Rasana goes to, uh, yeah, she goes to Varsana. Uh, Krishna goes to Nandagram. Then they have breakfast. Then Radharani cooks. Then they have relationship they arrange. Then Krishna goes out with the cows in different forests to graze them. Radharani goes home. They make secret plan to meet. They meet. They have lunch pastimes. Then Krishna goes. Krishna knows that Radharani is going to see Surya, because the Govinda Leela Amrita, the Astakala Leela book, is based on a Sunday. So Radharani goes to worship Surya near Radhakund. So Krishna goes there and dresses as the pujari. And Radharani comes with a big offering for Surya. Said, "Oh, please offer this to me, Swami Panditji." And then Krishna chants a bogus mantra. Do you know that? Have you read? Evam brabhre pram vidyam lokasmi evratri trividyam shruti smriti. And they go to you. This is Krishna. He's fooling us. So everyone has a big uproar of slap. So these are the pastimes. So it's all born out of ecstasy, we were explaining last week. So then they split up. Radharani goes to back to Varsana, takes the cow to Bhav. And then they come in the evening. They have like you see, Nanda Maharaj's palace in Vrindavan is like it's like a railway station, a palace, uh, the social center, the council house. Everything is there. Everyone goes there. Everyone goes there, and they enjoy their evening dancing and festivals and music. But at the same time, Krishna is glancing at Radharani and they're making arrangement. Oh, we'll meet in the forest. When everyone thinks we've gone to bed, we'll meet in the forest. Then they dance Ras Leela, play flute on the bank of the Jamuna, and take rest with their devotees in the groves of Vrindavan. So this ecstatic Leela is, the impetus is ecstasy. It's prema. There's no calculation. Krishna is not trying to enjoy on his own behalf. The devotee is not trying to enjoy on their behalf. They're just in this mood of ecstatic devotion. So we should have a good understanding of that. That's why I'm saying it, because we should contemplate. That is the nature of the spiritual world. Now, that is uh, Jaiva Dharma. That is the nature of the soul. That is sadhana. There's two types of bhakti, right? Bhakti, Vaidhi Bhakti, and Sanatan Dharma, Vaidhi Dharma. So Sanatan Dham means the activities of the soul. So we should understand that this is the apex of pure consciousness, this Vrindavan Leela. We should contemplate it. And that is the internal cultivation of Krishna consciousness. If you remember last week, I was explaining there's external cultivation and internal. External means sadhaka bhakta, sadhana bhakti. I get up at the right time. I don't eat these food. I only eat Krishna prasad. I'm austere. I control my senses. I don't overeat. I don't become critical or fault finding. I attend to my own conscience. That is sadhana bhakti. But within that, we should be is siddha bhakta, siddha prem, siddha sadhana, if you like. You are contemplating the spiritual world. And Rupa Goswami gives an example. He says that the sadhaka bhakta is like a woman who's married, but she's contemplating somewhere else. What does that mean? It means she's married to a husband and she's very faithfully serving the husband. That is sadhana bhakti. Or I'm putting on dhoti, tilak, mantras, everything going, I'm getting clean, I'm doing that. But within, so the wife is doing that, very faithful to sadhana bhakti. But within her consciousness, she's thinking of her lover. When will I meet my lover? Oh, my lover is thinking this and that. So we're not encouraging women to be unfaithful, but this is how a devotee, he should follow his sadhana very nicely in this world. But most importantly, within that format, within that safe space, modern phrase, safe space, he should be contemplating the nature of the spiritual world. You understand? This will purify his consciousness, and this will attract the mercy of Krishna. This will bring enthusiasm to the soul. This will bring realization. And then so this is important. Don't just go to Mangalarti and do service in the temple, think, oh, I'm doing okay. No. Within your heart and soul, you should be contemplating, what are Radha and Krishna doing at this time? What is the date now? Oh, it's a festival. Let me contemplate this aspect. So there's an internal practice within the consciousness of the transcendental, the oxygen realm. But to keep ourselves pure, we're careful about following a nice sadhana, not overeating, not oversleeping, so on and so forth. So this is important. And then, right, so this is the devotee. His mind is in Goloka, but also one part of his mind is on the body, keeping it regulated and austere so that he doesn't become agitated, forget the transcendental realm. Now, that's an important point we should emphasize. That in this world, there are so many distractions. Friends and enemies may appear, problems may come, hot or cold, but we should not let that be a distraction from our internal contemplation, our Jaiva Dharma, our internal practice. This is the most important thing, because gradually we will realize transcendence in this way. Everyone, by grace of Guru and Krishna. You don't have to think, oh, I don't have a big brain. I didn't pass exams when I was at school. The teacher said I was dumb. No, you are more intelligent than your teacher if you are contemplating Krishna. This is the supreme intelligence, to contemplate and realize the adhokshaja. So that is the message of parampara, and also coming down, and it's also going up. Our service is going up through parampara. So we get knowledge realization from Krishna, Guru, and Sadhu. And then we also send our service upward in that way. So therefore, Imam, it is the supreme secret. It's the axis. You must have a good guru. So you might think, oh, my guru is not Paramahansa. It doesn't matter. You surrender Mahajyena Gatasva Pantha. You surrender to the great Mahajan, the great guide. And what does Krishna say in the Gita? Devim Prakritim Ashrita. Oh no, Mahatmanastamam Patha Devim Prakritim Ashrita. The Mahatma are under the spiritual energy. Also, Prabhupada quotes the Guru the Paran when he talks about Guru and Parampara. He says, Brahmanishta. Who is Guru? Two words he gives. Shruti, he knows the Shruti. Shrotriyam, Brahmanishta. Three words. He's fixed on the spiritual platform. He has, his consciousness is, you can say, united with an oxygen. So that is the Mahajan. That is the Mahabhagavat. That is the Uttamadikari. So that is Mahajyena Katasvapantha. Lord, what does Rishabh Dev say? He says, Mahat Seva Dwaram Aho Vimuktes. Excuse me. By serving the Mahatma, the gate of liberation becomes open. So this again, everything is around this idea of parampara. But it doesn't mean that just my Diksha Guru is Guru. He is one manifestation of Baladev. Also, Shiksha Guru is there, Sannyas Guru is there, friend is there. They're all giving instruction through Krishna Kata. Huh? Yes, of course. That's what I'm saying. We can adopt all these great souls as we're not limited to one person. Just like if you want to learn Madanga, you should learn from many people, right? So no problem. So it's making him the first receiver, Arjuna, because the old succession was broken. It was the Lord's wish, therefore, to establish another parampara in the same line of thought that was coming down from the sun god to others. It was his wish that his teachings be distributed anew to Arjuna. He wanted Arjuna to become the authority, right? So then it comes to those five. We did this. Arjuna was in a relationship with a friend. There's a friend, of course, there's a gulf of difference between his friendship and the friendship found in the material world. Of course, everyone has a particular relationship with the Lord. Now, that's what we were. This is the most important point because the deviation that Srila Bhakti Siddhanta and Bhakti Vinod and Prabhupada fought against was the idea was it's an impersonal affected idea that you can choose your relationship. You understand? You can choose this, you can choose that. That means that you have no fixed relationship, but you just choose it. No, everyone is built with a relationship, inbuilt. Jivera Swarupoy Nityara Krishna Das. What is that verse? Muktir Hitavam Yatarupena Swarupena Vastiti. You see, the idea that the Guru gives the spiritual body is bogus. Because that means there is no spiritual body inherent in the soul. And we know from Ishupanishad, Om Purnamadak Purnamidam Purnat Purnat Udashite Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam. The Supreme Lord is perfect and complete. And because he's completely perfect, all emanations from him, like I'm Krishna, I'm perfect and complete. So all the spirit souls there that come from me, they're perfect and complete. So they have a relationship with me. If they don't have that inbuilt to the soul, they're not perfect and complete. They are an impersonal object. You see the point? That if you think the soul has no intrinsic body, spiritual body. That means it's just a spark of consciousness, which is Mayavadi thought. Vaishnavas don't think like that. And we know that I have my natural relationship with Krishna, and that will awaken when I realize Krishna. So we'll try to finish this paragraph. Of course, and that relationship is evoked by um, perfection of devotional service. But in the present status of life, not only have we forgotten the Supreme Lord, but we've forgotten our eternal relationship with the Lord. Every living being out of many, many billions and trillions of living entity, again, Prabhupada says again, has a particular relationship with the Lord eternally. I'll say that again because Prabhupada really makes it clear the way he puts it. That's the brilliance of power. Right? In our present status of life, we've forgotten the Supreme Lord and we've forgotten our relationship with the Supreme Lord. That, right? Every living being out of many billions and trillions of living beings has a particular relationship with the Lord eternally. Right? So we all have we're all individuals, perfectly equipped with a relationship with Krishna. It is there, but it's dormant. Like our ability to walk. When we're a child, we cannot walk. We learn to walk. So we have a relationship, but it's dormant. It's awoken by contemplating Ahoitiki Bhakti, like we explained elaborately last week. Unmotivated service to Guru, to Sadhu, to Krishna, to Lord Chaitanya. Unmotivated. So we should be very careful to understand the mood of pure devotion and practice that during our sadhana. Understand? That means that we don't become a devotee and think, oh, I'm going to be a temple president, get a big salary. I'm exaggerating. Or I'm going to be a famous person. I'm going to have lots and lots of followers. That is not pure bhakti. Huh? That is desiring some fruit for ourselves. Let that be as it may. But uh, first, develop your relationship with Krishna. First, realize Krishna through being unmotivated service, unmotivated. But what is the motivate? It should be just to give pleasure to Krishna, to Radharani, to Guru, to devotees. We should be like always thinking how to give love and kindness to the whole world. That is pure bhakti. So I'll say that out of many billions and trillions has a particular relationship. So Prabhupada is making it double clear, right? Because this was the big fight in Vaishnavism. That is called Swarup. Remember we've been talking about it. By the Swarup is two words. This is my interjection. Swa means own, Rup form, your own form. You have your own form. You have a form. Just like every seed has a form inside, in the form of the tree. That is called Swarup. By the process of devotional service, one can revive that Swarup, and that stage is called Swarup Siddhi, perfection of one's constitutional position. Again, constitutional. So Arjuna was a devotee and he was in touch with the Supreme Lord in friendship. Okay, so we'll finish on that point. Any question, points of discussion? Yes, please, go ahead. Is there any way by which, like, if we desire very much for Sak or Sakyaras, Sakyaras or Madhuraras, but we have, but one has his Swarup as in Dasyaras. So, is there any way that he can be elevated to Well,
Sakya.
like you say, we have a particular constitutional relationship. Well, as Prabhupada says. So if you read Dharma, the first couple of chapters, two disciples, acolytes, they go to the Guru. And the Guru gives them Harinam, and he says, every day, circumambulate morning and evening, Tulsi, take bath in the Ganga, uh, take only Krishna Prasad, avoid all bad association, and chant Hare Krishna. And then they go back to the Guru, and they see him again after 2 weeks, and they say, oh, Guruji, I'm feeling one, and the Guru asks them, how are you? I'm feeling wonderful. And then he asks each disciple, this is Jaiva Dharma, Bhaktivinoda Tagore, he says, how are you feeling in your relationship? And one of the disciples says that I am attracted to Krishna in his Sakya pastimes. I'm attracted to how he goes with the cowherd boys, and there's great camaraderie, and they're in the forest, and they're playing flute, and they're enjoying, and in this, that's the mood. So then Guru says, now you chant, cultivating that mood in your chanting. Do you understand? But it's a mood, we must note at this point, that has arisen already. It has arisen not from the mind, as you're describing, it's arisen after sadhana bhakti. This acolyte, disciple, has been chanting, following purity, and very quickly, interest in a particular relationship based on his particular constitutional relationship has awoken. So then he turns to the other acolyte and he says, how are you feeling in your chanting and progress? And that devotee said, I'm interested. I feel attracted to the conjugal pastimes of Radha and Krishna. But then the Guru explains, then you chant, cultivating that mood. But again, we must emphasize that this is an awakening mood. It is not coming from the mind. It is not coming from a neophyte that read a book and thought, I don't want to be in Sakya Ras. I want to be in this Ras. Well, that's okay. You want to be in some relationship. But a good guru will explain, look, put those thoughts aside now. Now just Mam Namaskuru. Just cultivate the holy name. Cultivate the knowledge of the Shastra. Cultivate the 10th canto, the activities of Radha and Krishna, the cowherd boys, Mother Yashoda. Contemplate the full gamut. Contemplate the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya with Lord Nityyananda. Contemplate them and chant with this general internal absorption in the transcendental abode. And then your relationship, your particular relationship, will come forward. Just like you put a seed in the ground, eventually it will be revealed. Oh, this is an apple tree. This is a tulsi tree. This is a peach tree. It will naturally develop. So we, at an immature stage, we shouldn't think, I want this, I want that. Uh, we should take shelter of the guidance of the Guru. Now, as we become advanced, this desire to serve in this mood becomes very developed. But it's coming from the soul. This is the important point. It's coming from an awakened soul. And so the internal process which we're talking about is to cultivate this awakening relationship, not trying to imagine what the awakening relationship is. Do you understand? This is a subtle difference, but very important. So that's the answer to that question. Are you satisfied?
Yes,
Let it
completely
come
satisfied.
naturally. At the beginning, read everything. Read Krishna book, everything. You see, Prabhupada, he had suddenly 5,000 disciples. He told everyone to read everything, everything. But these fine details, everyone should read Jaiva Dharma, Chaitanya Shikshamrita, Chaitanya Bhagavat. There, especially Jaiva Dharma, is full of very subtle ways to improve the practice of Siddha Bhakti. Remember we were talking last week? What was that sloka? Seva sadhaka rupena siddha rupena chatrahi. This is Rupa Goswami. You should perform sadhana with your body as sadhana, and you should also siddha with an awakening relationship with Krishna. And this is the important thing about if you, this is the fruit of bhakti. If you just shave your head, put tilak and go to Mangalarti and work hard in the temple, excellent. But you're missing the real point. The real point is to awaken Swarup. You understand? This is this is the real nectar. This is the secret. So Jaiva Dharma is very important. And in there you get lots of information for what to do at this time and how to progress at this time, so on and so forth. Abhideya, Abhideya, Prayojan, everything is there. But like we say in the class, that if you're just sincere, you're chanting Hare Krishna, and you think, oh, Radha and Krishna, you're so beautiful, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Your Swarup is wakening up. You understand? So we don't have to be too mental. You understand? Too intellectualized. We just have to be in the heart. Oh, Radha and Krishna, your pastimes are beautiful and attractive. Mother Yashoda, your love for Krishna is unparalleled. Oh, the cowherd boys, you love Krishna so much. Uh, and you have all his best friends. And you march into the mouth of Agasura because you know that Krishna will protect you. So you just contemplate, this is why I'm saying earlier, that you contemplate the moods in the spiritual world. You understand that when you're chanting. And eventually your own mood will come out prominently. Understand? Because it is constitutional. That's the important point. It's constitutional. So you don't have to worry, be in anxiety. I'll get the wrong swarup. I'll get the swarup on the battlefield of Kurukshetra and I'll be dodging arrows eternally because I was reading Bhagavad Gita when I died. So now I was born again on the battle of Kurukshetra. Oh, how did this happen? I want a constitutional Swarup, Krishna. Right? But actually, sometimes you hear that kind of argument. Oh, you know some of the Babaji? No, I know I made a joke out of it, but actually, no. Oh, I cannot. The Babajis. Oh, no, I don't want to read about Krishna and the cowherd boys because I'm cultivating conjugal rights, you see. So I don't want to make myself impure by thinking of the cowherd boys. Do you understand? This is all material. I try to explain. So try to material. Rag bhakti means spontaneous attraction in a particular constitutional mood, you see. So this is there naturally, and you have nothing to worry about. You have your constitutional nature, and you will be completely, eternally fulfilled in that relationship. It is perfect and complete. So, any question? We'll finish at this point. everyone is happy, especially Chakradari. So thank you for your kind attention. This is very important. Actually, if I may say, just remind you that this book, by reading the introduction, that's what made me want to become a devotee. Prabhupada's introduction. And at the same time, there was a point when I read the introduction, I need a guru. I don't have one. So I went to the Mana, Bhaktivedanta Mana, and guess who was there? Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Sri Sri Gauritai, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Mahaprabhu ki jai.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama.